What we do here is go back.
Welcome to the Hustle Sold Separately, episode 143. We are a weekly podcast dedicated to hustlers, creators, doers, entrepreneurs, CEOs, businessmen and women in and around the world, really doing their thing and on their grind, whether it's their first or their 50th venture. We have guests come on usually every week to discuss, what's going on in real time on the journey, because often and success is, it's glamorized and it's glorified, and we believe in anything but that. We believe in the process and the journey. And so, as I mentioned, we're grateful because our guests are always willing to share what's happening in real time. And this week is no different. I'm Matt Gottesman, founder and editor-in-chief of hdfmagazine.com and HDF Magazine on Instagram. And I'm here with my partner in crime and co-producer and co-founder, Case Kenny. What's going on, Case?
What's up, everybody? Case Kenny here, Pursuit and Pursuit.com. Super excited for today's episode. I think it's going to relate on a lot of different levels. I think both, personally as well as from an entrepreneurial aspect. But today, kind of our theme, broadly speaking, is this idea of going through adversity to find your truth. And I think, we've had a lot of people on, and I think a foundational element of our guest is that, to really find your truth personally, just to understand yourself and kind of your purpose and your passion, you have to have perspective. And the best way to garner perspective is oftentimes by going through adversity or making changes or, sometimes suffering or just sometimes going through things that challenge you. And I think that's a pretty universal truth. So we're going to talk about that today because I think it's a very powerful catalyst in our lives. And we've got two great guests that are going to talk about it and certainly have a lot of great perspective to share. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm very excited. Quick shout out to our sponsor. Our sponsor is Movement, MVMT, watches and sunglasses. Now, might seem a little bit random, but if you read Pursuit's email, you've seen that we've been working with these guys for a couple months now, and there's a reason that we have. You want to talk about the journey and how it's, a long journey. These guys, the two founders, are on quite the journey themselves. They've created a monster company from nothing over just a couple of years, and it's really an inspiring story. And obviously, I'm not going to take time to go through it, but they've created a really cool company by creating a great product and by leveraging folks like us who believe in that journey. They do a lot of influencer marketing, which is really exciting and something that we get behind. But of course, we only back advertisers that have a cool story to tell, and Movement certainly is one. So definitely check them out. They've got a great product. They've hooked us up with a couple watches and sunglasses, and definitely something that I like to rock, and very affordable and very quality as well. So if you go to Movement, their site, MVMT, you can use the code PURSUIT, PRSUIT, for 15% off. We'll mention it again at the end of the episode, but definitely worth checking out. Again, we appreciate them. We've been working with them for a couple months, and I think you guys will appreciate what they have to offer. So, boom. With that being said, we'll hop into episode 143.
I'm already pitching them here in the studio as you're going through. Yeah, I've got about two or three, bought a couple. I bought a couple gifts for a few people, so really appreciate those guys. And adversity. You were talking about adversity. What's that? You don't go through adversity in entrepreneurship. Not at all. Everything is it's cakewalk, man. You never get frustrated ever. So, in fact, actually, I think that it's exactly how you find your truth. So today will be just another great episode, and our guests are here in the studio, Ian and Jordan K. I'm going to cue you guys up real quick because I try to keep, whenever there's more than one guest, I try to keep the bios somewhat short, even though I know you guys both have incredible backgrounds. But both of them grew up with an entrepreneurial father, and he mentored them in business and in life. And so in 1977, their dad, Neil K., started Cisco Sales Corp., and it's a sourcing and product development company. And then in 2009, their father had to downsize his business, and Ian and Jordan decided to go all in by joining their family business to ensure survival. So Ian oversaw the warehouse, took a year off from college. By the way, when I read that, that was impressive, and worked a whole year for free, even more impressive. And then Jordan has never taken commissions. So through these sacrifices, they knew they were investing into their future. And then they really respected their dad. I mean, for decades, he made products for other people, and they just decided that maybe it was time for them to create something of their own. So they formed Rally Flip Cap, and I've seen these guys now twice in person and all over social media, interacting and having fun with their brand, which is something very, very important that I wish anybody that's building something do in their growth. Jordan had always been a hat guy. He was a major league baseball game, and it was rally time, so people were flipping their hats inside out, and he didn't want to ruin his hat. I actually can attest to that because I used to be that way with all my hats. I think I still am. And that's when they had this aha moment after years of research and developing their concept into a product. Their vision became clear. Ball caps have evolved beyond baseball and sports. They've spread into other cultures and countries that aren't familiar with the game, and they also actually become a very big part of the fashion world. So just two quick little backgrounds on them, and then we're going to let them talk a little bit more about their story. But Jordan is University of Cal, Berkeley, 2009 alumni, bachelor's degree in American Studies with an emphasis in international business and work in the global economy. Boom, we have the same background there. E&K Loyola Marymount University, also an exceptional school, 2012 alumni, bachelor's degree in studio arts with an emphasis on graphic design and visual communication. Wow, you two have a perfect complement for your roles with the company. Jordan's strengths include building relationships, communicating with clients in overseas factories, trade shows, quality control, customer service, sales, and creating business opportunities. So any of you out there that are complaining about the work, please pay attention. And then Ian's strengths include Photoshop, content creation, social media marketing, online computer graphics, patent searching, web design, leadership, sales, and figuring out the way to bring value to others. So you two nicely complement each other. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having us, man. It's
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. No, first of all, it was great to meet up with you guys about a month ago over lunch, and just even hearing more of the story. I hope you dive into a lot of those details too. Like, I know there's only so much time we have, but just even hearing some of the things from like childhood. But where we typically start off is we just dive right into it. You guys tell us a little bit about kind of what led up to Rally Flip Cap, and you can talk both about, from a standpoint of, the sports and college and all the way through, working with your pops and anything really you want. It's up to you guys, but like what got us to here today.
Okay.
Take the reins, Ian.
So growing up, dealing with a lot of adversity. My story is a little different from Jordan. I was attacked by a Rottweiler when I was 7 years old on my arm, and going at a young age and almost losing my arm and rushed into the hospital to have surgery. Didn't understand that, and I almost died. So at a very young age, 7 years old, I dealt with that and stared death in the face, was very scared of dogs, outgrew that, went to psychiatrists, was on medications, and I possibly it set me back a year or two growing up, but I played baseball, I played sports growing up, and I took that adversity of almost losing my arm and rolling with it, and younger on, I didn't realize it, but it prepared me emotionally and mentally and physically for this journey of entrepreneurship. Later, 3 years later, at 10 years old, I had started developing Tourette's syndrome. When I went into shock and I was attacked by that dog, neurologically, my body reacted with involuntary tics, Tourette's syndrome, and I'd be ticking, and people would be making fun of me, my neck jerks and things. So not understanding what was going on at the age of 10 and being radically humiliated and embarrassed, I took that, and it really helped me know who I was at that age, not realizing that I couldn't control my body. So that got me into the direction of being tough.
You got to grow up fast.
Yes.
Basically. And what about you? I mean, it doesn't have to be as extreme. I mean,
he's too humble, too. I mean, he's had open heart surgeries as well, but you could have gone on that. But anyways, started at young age, loved sports all my life, always saw the light in sports and wanted to take that to another level, dealing with adversity within sports, from injuries to, wins, losses, you name it. Sports is pretty much business in itself, is the way I look at it. And dealing with adversity throughout my life, family business, 2009, dip into that. I was just off the boat from college, studied international business, and as you can see, we wear a lot of hats and like to flip them too. That's how we like to say it, but we went into the family business because it was tough times. So 2009, a lot of people remember that. And
The recession, around the time of the recession, right?
Exactly. And, our father had to downsize his business 75%. I gave my brother a call. He ended up taking a year off school. And it wasn't the initial route we wanted to go, but we wanted insured survival. And long story short, went into it, started looking for new ways to monetize, clean things up, building back. And, we don't tell a lot of people this, but for a small family business, we were 1.4 million in the hole. So it was very tough, walls coming in. And, but, within 4 years, we worked, we put our heads together, worked our way out with creative, bringing in new accounts, streamlining the business. And I said, we're doing all these sourcing and creative projects and not monetizing. We need to monetize that. And then the next step, hey, being a sourcing company, open market products, hey, anyone could get that. Why not we start investing into our own products? We've been making products for other people. It's time to do something of ourselves. And that's how the idea kind of stepped.
For sure. Yeah. So, first of all, I appreciate you guys sharing that. I think that makes so much sense. And I think, obviously, no one wants to experience diversity or adversity rather, excuse me. But I think, I want to go back in a little bit on how some of the more personal adversity you guys faced affected you and affects you currently. But I am curious, your work with your family business. It sounds like it was definitely challenging, and you went into a scenario where your back was already up against the wall. Like, how did that, the experience there, how has that made you better entrepreneurs in your own business now? I think, a lot of people jump headfirst with no experience, but I'm guessing that your experience with your family's business, your father's business, definitely made you stronger entrepreneurs. And talk a little bit about that.
Definitely. And, just in the business that we're in, we're not working on one product. We're working on a variety of projects. So being ADD boys over here keeps our head in the game. But just diversifying what we're doing, working on multiple projects, actually doing things, different things. Google's an amazing thing to learn things on while you're developing. But just having our hands in a bunch of different projects, and keeping a focal point on the business and stability, it was a perfect concoction for who we are today, and I wouldn't change a thing. Ian, please say something.
But Case, coming into it back in 2009, I was luckily subsidized living at home for free, but I did work for free. I worked in the warehouse, did bill of ladings, did inventory management, and Jordan earned his desk after a month or two getting trained. But coming into that environment, we had to gain our respect with the other two employees that we have. Cynthia, who does our logistics, freight forwarding, and she wears a lot of hats too, and a little bit of accounting work and a lot of other random things. And then Jessica, she's Chinese, from China. She's been here for 15 years. She handles all our communication with our factories and also some of our other clients. So Jordan and I had to figure out our roles early on, and I knew I'd be going back to LMU after a year. From 2010, I graduated in 2012, and I knew I had to bring an asset to the business. And I saw Alibaba, what was going on. We had a little presence, Cisco Sales Corp, on Alibaba, and realizing with Amazon, I knew I had to bring some digital footprint, and I learned Dreamweaver before that became obsolete, and CS, Flash, and different things, but Photoshop and Illustrator is where I got my broad graphic design emphasis, and knowing PNGs, graphics, printing on paper, CYMK, and RGB for computers, and really just learning and a lot of self-teaching. And I really value self-efficacy, Jordan and I. And self-efficacy is not only the belief in yourself and your abilities, but that you can carry on a task. And that comes from failing, of course, from trying and continue to audit yourself. And Jordan and I really took those personal development skills into the business, just because we really, we weren't handed anything. We were brought into something where it was a dire situation, and we did everything we could to keep the lights on, and it really gave us humble beginnings to have that pressure, which we really are thankful for.
And just wanted to say one more thing, two little side stories. So just showing the kind of person our father is, who we love and respect so much, and have learned so much from that man, and still learn things every day from him today. In the tough times we were at, my brother took a year off school. We were both in the warehouse. My brother started off earlier than I did, a few weeks. I went into the business right after school, and first day I go in, young buck, Berkeley degree, just played some football, wanted to do something, had the burning desire, went in and said, "Dad, where's my desk?" He looked at me. He goes, "What are you talking about, Jordan?" He goes, "You don't have a desk. Get in the warehouse." And I said, "What?" He said, "Get in the warehouse." Okay. So I go in the warehouse. My brother and I are there. Where I'm going, Ian, what the hell's going on? Like, we need business, we need sales, we're hungry. What's going on? Went into my dad's office a week later. Said, "Dad, this is ridiculous. I'm a Berkeley grad. I have a degree. I'm here to work." Like, he goes, "You obviously don't get it. Get the hell back in the warehouse." And my brother and I started to talk, and a few weeks later, came back in. I said, "Ian, I think I know what's going on, man." We went in my dad's office. I said, "Dad, is this a test? Is this some type of," and he goes, "Okay, you're onto something." He said, "Let me take the reins from here." He goes, "I don't care who you are. I don't care what you bring to the table. But when you come into a business, especially a family business, as bad times as good times, you need to start from the ground up. And you do that because you sweat equity, but along the way, you're going to gain respect with the culture and the employees, and you're not going to be some daddy's boy coming into the company." And my brother and I looked at each other and said, "Wow, oh my gosh, this was our aha moment for being young bucks out of college, a little, what's the word I'm looking for? A little entitled there, but didn't even see the entitlement." And that was a huge story. Another thing,
we grew.
That was just something that made the inception of growth within the business before we actually started doing stuff.
Wasn't aware of it then.
Exactly. And then, another thing, just an example, my grandfather, God rest his soul, he passed about 3.5 years back, and he was a huge mentor of all of us, and definitely the head of the K family. So our grandpa had a background, but he would come in and check in our office, every couple weeks, just how things going, and I would complain, it's 2009, 2010, Grandpa, it's tough out there. It's hard to get business. It's hard to get accounts. It's hard to bring them in. And my grandpa looked at me and goes, "Hey, Jordan, it is tough. Nothing's easy." He goes, if life was fair, you'd be out in Pomona." And the next thing he said, "I just want you to do this. Next time you are in a corner feeling down, I want you to go outside. I want you to walk to the nearest busiest street. And I want you to count the amount of trucks going by. Count, okay? These big rigs, as tough times, someone's buying, someone's selling, go get it. Go get it."
It's true.
So
it's true.
Call the number, ask questions, go to the website, see who it is, do some research, be patient with it, and pursue it, and on to the next seed that you plant.
And that was the foundation.
Yeah, your family reminds me of my family. I remember even at like the age of like 7, like when the concept of like an allowance, you hear it at school, and I was like, "Hey, Pops, like, so we can do an allowance?" He's like, "Yeah, here's a shovel."
There you go.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. It was like, it was a healthy allowance, but it was like work. I was taught from a very young age, like, you work for everything, and it was always understand that if we're able to do something for you, respect that, because we respect that we're in that position, and then you work for it as well, so you can pay it forward as well too over time. Like, you have to grow up with a work ethic.
Exactly.
And so
It builds. It's a character builder, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, well, and your pops was also very right. Like, when you come into any business, you have to know what's underneath the hood of this beautiful Ferrari. I don't care if it's a classic Ferrari that needs a little fine tuning and it's a little out of shape. You still need to get under the hood and know what you're dealing with the engine, like what's going on with with all the parts, right? And so that's obviously going to lead into what became then your guys' next venture, or venture on top of your other venture with Rally Flip Cap. How did that? Talk a little bit about how like that started to form, and we'll dive into some of those details a little bit.
Yeah, so we've come out with a couple other products that had design patents, and Flip Cap was utility because of how it flips open and the flip up feature. And we said at first, hey, this product is gonna, if we go all in on this and we work towards it, we develop it, R&D, do the molds, go over to China, work with a trading company and develop it, then this is such a great promotional product. You flip it open, you're gonna remember brand recognition, additional advertising space, boom, right there, it's in your face. And we worked the licensing expo in 2013, and did we shit down our leg and realize real quick, we need a license. We actually need to make our minimum viable product. At the time, the concept was an MVP. We got feedback. People said they love a license on it. It should be a little bit better quality. We actually had decals and stickers on it, and now we have a microfiber satin cloth, and we have our dry erase version. And really, Jordan will go into more detail, but the vision behind our hat is it's a tool, it's a platform. Right now we have two versions: the dry erase hat, then we have the classic. And we really look to create this experience. You know, it's all about going to events. It's all about being a fashion statement. People represent the brands that they wear, but this brand also is a way for people to express themselves when they want to. You know, when you go on Facebook right now and you post on your wall, it says, write what's on your mind. It says, what's on your mind. So it's kind of like, you know, off digital type of thing, human to human interaction when you flip this hat in person and at events. But Jordan, you want to go early on with you being kind of the brainchild behind it?
Yeah. So I mean, just studying the business and, you know, going through, you know, trials, tribulations, hardships, getting out of the hole that we were in. You know, like I said, just loving the process and being aware of the little things as well as the big things, and taking that into account. But along the way, just from inception, you know, we didn't just go to this hat. This was a buildup. We started with design patents when we started going into IP. So knowing that we had to get our own IP, started with trademarking it, the patent process, being involved with that, making sure, you know, all our protection was in line. And, you know, we came out with a product called the 123 Miracle Sharpener. It's a manual 3-stage knife sharpener. That was our first product. And then we had a digital coin counting bank. That's a design patent. It's called, Ian came up with the name, it's called the DigiPiggy. Love that. So digital, awesome. Digi. So, and then from there, those are our own products, but we're building and making products from other people.
And those products, sorry to interrupt, Jordan, weren't brands that we built. They were products with names, and we wholesaled those to, you know, toy stores and Amazon resellers. So we didn't really build the market more. We sold it, and it was a great product, and we still sell it. But you know, when it came down to learning in our first venture that we built from nothing and really building the brand and marketing and not transacting, but storytelling, you know, letting people know about this product, going to street fairs, giving demonstrations, and really working on our salesmanship skills of knowing how to sell this product. You know, we weren't always this passionate about openly flipping our hats. You know, all the people that said, why flip up a hat and why this? We told them, hey, it might not be for you, but that's kind of, you know, goes back to my story of having Tourette's and other things that I couldn't control. Hey, like, this is my truth. It's me. If you don't understand it, no worries, but I do. And God bless you. I hope you understand you. And, you know, like, this is just what it is.
I'm trying to, I hope we didn't babble around that, but I hope we answered the question there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So I definitely want to talk about the business a bit more, because I think you guys were on the entrepreneur elevator pitch, which was really cool. So I want to come back to that. But you just said, you know, you talked about your truth. And I'm curious, I have a lot of respect for you guys, because every time I see you guys posting on social, like, first of all, you guys have so much energy, which I think is freaking awesome. And like, it's no surprise that you guys are able to market this product that certainly is unique, but like, your energy is just very palpable, even on social media, which is sometimes tough to do. But like, you talk about your truth, like personally and as a business, like how would you succinctly define that for you guys? Because I think that's a challenge for a lot of people. I mean, whether that means like your personal truth and how that exudes itself within your business, or just as a business, like, what is your brand truth? Like, what do you represent? Like, how would you guys just like quickly describe that for yourselves?
Yeah. So I hope I'm answering this right, but you know, Rally Flip Cap, it looks like a regular hat, flips up, but the big thing is, it suits the introvert and the extrovert. But our mentality is having an open mind. When you flip our hat, it becomes a mechanism, but it means more than that. Having an open mind in life, in the world, everything will make this world a better place. Don't get me involved with politics, but you know the deal. People going left, and we just need to come together as one. And I feel like open-mindedness goes with the action of our hat. And if you wanted to elaborate on that.
Yeah, and then, I mean, more of our truth is we're grateful to be alive. Like Jordan said, I also have had 2 open heart surgeries. I have a mechanical valve, so I take Coumadin, and you know, at struggles of me having to take medicine and monitoring my body, it's really allowed me to monitor my social accounts, my outbound sales calls, other emails. I'm able to manage it. And my truth is I am so happy. I love taking my presence and aurora around me and bringing that energy to people. And I really want to, I feel like if I didn't open my mouth and talk about my struggles in a positive light, you know, I'd be doing a disservice to myself, my loved ones, and people that know know me and who are better about being around me. And, you know, I'm not perfect. I have my days, but I have my positive self-talk with my thoughts, and I put positive energy out there. And that's kind of what we try to do with our hats. And Jordan says, very being open-minded. And open-mindedness can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, but really it's just a respect factor. We respect anyone that loves what they're doing, whatever it is. If you're sweeping the floor, if you're a janitor, you love what you're doing, you're smiling, God bless you. Like Gary Vee says, you're winning, you've made it. You know, if you're not complaining, blaming, helpless, or, you know, living a life of shame, I don't care what you're doing. If you're entrepreneurial in the way you raise your kids, if you're a father, if you're just a single mom, you know, that's what it's about, sharing that goodness, that universal truth of love. It's just pure love.
And that's more of the vision, I would say, just off the cusp. But, you know, like we said in the beginning, Ian and I are very much, you know, sports nuts, and we love sports. We've learned so much, and it's molded us as people. And me being a college athlete, Ian, you know, being an athlete, could have played college ball, but, you know, we take that, and we really wanted, I personally, with our first license being Cal Berkeley, you know, I'm a proud Golden Bear. I really wanted to bring something back to campus, bring something back to the fans, for all the people that supported me when I was on the field. And I speak for my brother as well and other athletes out there, just because having that camaraderie, that culture, it just really wanted to bring something bigger than both of us back to us, and then eventually the world.
Yeah, and our energy, you know, we really did a soft launch and was showing our concepts back in 2014 in Hermosa Beach at some street fairs, and we worked some other shows, but we did our real launch at Berkeley in 2016 with our only license. We wanted to tell the story of, you know, Jordan being a former football player and how part of our story is giving back to the school. We have to pay a royalty, so we want to show that, hey, a student athlete is doing other things outside of school, and it's all about the school and, you know, community. And, you know, I don't care if you're a small business or big business, if you're not affecting your local community or the state or city you're in, you're not going to affect the world or the universe in any way. And also, Case, going back to you talking about elevator pitch, like our energy brought us an amazing opportunity to be on this show, which is very, you know, Dave Meltzer, the host of the show, talks about it's like Shark Tank with soul. So how I like to talk about it too, it's like The Voice compared to American Idol. You have coaches that are mentoring you more rather than just things. And yes, we did make a deal. We are working with our partners. We have them as advisors. They're helping us scale what we're doing. They have made amazing introductions, and where Jordan and I want to see this is we don't know if we're always going to be doing Rally Flip Cap, but we have a lot more work to do in the coming years, and we want to help demonstrate and be a part of it. But we really want to work with headwear companies, which we're already talking with, and it's a slow, patient relationship we're building, that are going to help us with their distribution channels, integrating it in, and it does not happen overnight. There's so many people recently with the show coming out, you know, last October. Season 2 comes out this spring, you know, saying amazing, like you guys made it. Hey, we're humble, man. We are up and coming, man. We are
ain't
young.
shit yet. We ain't shit.
We are learning every day. We have a growth mindset. We are doing us, and you know, it's really just begun. Like we plan on really taking our hats to Disney resorts, to putting other characters with our hats and having it be more of an accepted product. Right now, it's very startup-y and very niche, and you know, we're making the funnel very wide.
You know, there's a lot in what you said, so I'm gonna try to sum up a couple things to kind of lead into this next question. But, well, I guess the question I have is, and I'll back it up a little bit, do you think adversity speeds up the process? And the reason why I say this is because it allows you to get to the core of, like, who the hell you are and why you're doing what you're doing, or why you would want to go do what you want to go do. It allows you to tell your story. And I also believe, but I want to hear from you guys, do you think adversity also speeds up your company, your business? And meaning, because like when we deal with shit, and then nowadays, because of the platforms we have, we're able to speak on it in a public forum way, and show people like why we're doing it, and almost kind of embrace the shit, embrace the
Right.
you know the stuff that happens in a public way that's also not only very transparent and authentic, but allows people to like really, no pun intended, like rally behind the brand, like really get in, you know, and say, wow, like I like what these guys are doing. Do you think it speeds up the process of like adapting products in the market and adapting what you're doing, and then also, you know, pushing your initiatives forward more?
Yeah.
I
Jordan,
would-
you go.
Yeah, I would say that it speeds it speeds up the internal process. But I would say the business itself,
Right.
as much, no, I mean, it's people, people think it's overnight success. Like you guys, that's why we love you guys so much, what you guys preach and what your guys' truth
What
is
you
all
guys
about.
have built.
And it's, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's for the it's a game of patience. And at the same time, you're finding yourself, you're evolving, but it does speed up from an authentic standpoint, because that speaks to our audience, and that's where we really try to be.
But yeah, it speeds it up. I wouldn't say about business, but whatever a business is only as good as the people that run it. And just like this entrepreneur media magazine that is backing the show, these investors are investing in the people. It's not the patented products and not the brands. It's the people and how they can make a difference to the world. And it does speed it up, the adversity, Matt, because I think of it as if you have a grocery list or you're going in and out and what you want, you're going to order very quickly, right? If you go into a grocery store, you don't know what you're getting, you're going to go down the aisles, you're going to keep searching, you're going to be there for 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes on my lunch break, I go to the grocery store and I'm only in there for 10 minutes and I'm literally running around. I'm power walking. I know what I have to get and I get it. So like when you go through adversity, you kind of know, these weaknesses, which my brother and I have really turned. We've complained and in the past, but when we finally started saying, hey, it matters to us enough to do something about it. We have this burning desire. I'm a big fan of Think and Grow Rich. I read that book. I wrote down my note to myself of what I'm going to do to earn what I'm going to get over a period of time. And that shit has come true. That shit has manifested. I'm a big believer in that, and I love practicing what I preach, and Jordan and I are an open book, and our hats are open up too. And we really want to share that with the world, and we want to teach. We want to help people how we can, but true help and teachers can only dissect with questions. The student has to learn themselves and fail. And, the student the master has failed more times than the student has ever tried. And I don't know where that quote is, but it's just that's something that we live by. And a lot of other people that are quote unquote, even if they're not entrepreneurs, that are successful at doing what they love doing. They figured it out enough, strummed that guitar enough, sang enough in that room where no one was around, doing all that work. And then, like, no doubt, 7 to 8 years later, Gwen Stefani gets noticed. People don't realize that it takes time to figure it out, and it's okay. And that's why you got to talk to the people, like-minded people that are going through that journey. That's why Jordan and I started listening to this podcast over a year and a half ago. We respect what you and Case are doing, and it's just such a privilege to be on this platform now and work with you guys and tell our story. And really, we just want to help others. We really want to inspire and help others.
I love that. Well, I appreciate you guys. I mean, first of all, you guys are dropping a lot of truths, and I think same here. I mean, we love to surround ourselves with people who share that mentality, which you guys definitely do. So definitely appreciate you. So here's a question that I haven't asked in a while, just because usually we run out of time, but we've got great time today. We talk about the name of our show is The Hustle Sold Separately, right? It's this idea that the dream is free, but the hustle, that's where you got to put in the work, and that's definitely separate from just thinking and planning. So I'm curious for you guys. You've talked a lot about your truth. You've talked a lot about the direction for your brand. You've talked a little bit about what's next for your brand. I'm curious for you, tough question. See if you could define it. What would success look like for you for Rally Flip Cap, or just in general, for you as entrepreneurs? Is there? It's always an evolving finish line for us, certainly, but I always like to get other people's take. What would enable you to look back and be like, oh, we did it. I came here, we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. What does that look like for you guys?
I'll answer this first, and this is Ian speaking. So for me, it would be having, our hats in the stadiums. If it's us doing a new era flip cap and you drop the Rally Flip Cap brand name, even though our brand means a lot to us, we're not that romantic with it. We now have surrounded ourselves with our advisors and some other people that know how to sell lots of hats and have an impact with those hats where they're going. But for me personally, if it's having something to do with Rally Flip Cap, when we quote unquote have the distribution and have our hats, globally outside the U.S. and, years to come or more time to come, I would love to give back in ways. Not only Jordan and I are going to schools more and helping kids early on by telling them and giving them our time and inspiring them with our story, but I want to personally help and mentor kids that are going through having Tourette syndrome or things like that. I also want to give someone the ability to have a heart surgery. My life was saved being able to have, I had a reconstructive surgery a repair when I was 14, and I had a mechanical valve replacement when I was 26. I'm 29 now. So I would love to have, give that. My legacy would be to give someone the ability to have life through monetizing the efforts of building Rally Flip Cat.
And I would say, what we're really trying to do is just make hats more fun. At the end of the day, from a business standpoint, of where our end goal is once the world and people know what Rally Flip Cap is, what we're all about, how our hat works, our marketing is pristine. People know what the product is, and it's right next to a regular hat. You know what? It's going to look like a regular hat. It's going to feel like a regular hat. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the same price. Are you going to pick the regular hat? Or are you going to pick the one that brings more value as well as an experience? That's where we're going to go. So that's our mindset. From a more philosophical standpoint, my biggest fear in life is regret. Doing all I can to pursue my potential and rallying the people that are along the way with me and helping people along the way, giving back where we can. But most importantly, just inspiring others to pursue their passion and find the skill sets that helps them find their passion. And just say, hey, you know what? The American dream's still alive and well. It's possible. It just takes hard work, discipline, and, relentless pursuit to get it.
Boom. Amen. All right, I guess we're done then.
Love it.
No, we always, towards the end of the show, we always do the Hustler's Thought of the Day. And I know that we've already technically touched on a lot of this, but here was a quote from one of you, both of you, together. Combined. Everyone will go through his or her own personal struggles. Embrace adversity. Let it be part of you, but don't let it define you. Stare fear directly in the eye. Believe in yourself, and if it matters to you enough, you will find a way. Boom. You want to share some more thoughts on that?
I'll go first, and then Jordan will go. So for me too, like I said, just through joining our business and the sacrifices, we sold our house. Parents went through a nasty divorce. Everything is great now. I currently, as of right now, I live downstairs at Grandma's house. I'm literally Grandma's boy, and I love it. It's living below my means right now and working hard and putting everything into this business and what our actions are with it. But really, when it comes down to my biggest weaknesses in life and things that I really wanted to change, I really did what I could. I accepted it if I couldn't change it, and I've turned some of the biggest weaknesses into my greatest strengths. So if I can do it, and some of the things that I've come from and done, I know anyone and other people that want it bad enough can do that too. So it's really just a change of perspective is what you need. And also too, just very grateful with being mentored by Dave Meltzer. And I've always practiced gratitude just because I'm very happy to be alive and grateful. But when it comes down to these 5 principles: gratitude, empathy, forgiveness, accountability, and effective communication. When you use those 5 principles throughout your life, you will be a happier person, and you will create happiness around others, and that like energy will attract that like energy, bad or good. So that's my thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, adversity, you find your truth and strengths through adversity, and going back from adversity, being an athlete, I feel like the key to success is taking all that you've learned in the sports world and channeling that passion into another outlet. And a lot of people get misconstrued with what passion is, and the question of the day is, how do I find my passion? And I have empathy for people that ask that, because I want everyone to feel what we feel. At the same time, though, it's misconstrued. Why? Because to find your passion, you need to do. You need to find out where your skill sets are. Once you find out where your skill sets are, it's amazing how much easier, and the world really universe opens up to you. You see the light and find your skill sets. That leads to your passion.
I mean, first of all, I'm glad anybody listening just heard how humble you are for trying to build something that you believe in, and you're open about it. You're not masking it like, I live over here, I'm doing that, and you're not glorifying it either. Like, life is so hard, but I'm making it through. You're just being exactly who you are and say, hey, I live downstairs from Grandma, and And you're married, correct?
Of course, yeah.
And you're owning it very well, purposely living below your means to build on a dream. And that's hard for a lot of people too, is because they don't, I think, always understand sacrifice there. It's like they do to a degree, but they don't realize like how far are you really willing to go to make something else happen, like to prolong gratification, a little bit further out for the thing that you believe in. And then Jordan, you mentioned about the passion thing does. Case and I talk about this a lot because we believe people should be doing their passion. I think, and you guys mentioned earlier Gary Vee and others and David Meltzer, and they'll all say the same thing. And then we'll also say exactly what you just said, which is that you can't really understand until you start the discovery process, until you start to do something. And I think people also come in with this expectation like, oh, I'll start doing it, I'll figure it out right away. And you're like, no, it's this kind of like you have to play around with things a little bit, make movement happen, and then something will lead you to something, and also not being so married to something that if it just ends up not really resonating with you, it's okay to leave that alone too. And nobody else is going to make fun of you. And if they do make fun of you, who cares? Because fuck them. Because like you're moving in a way that allows you, because like that thing helped you make another decision. People on the sideline critics, that's all they are. They're sideline players. They don't, they're not.
No statue was ever erected by a critic.
Right.
No critic ever built a statue. They're just judging it.
Right.
And the judgers or the haters is more of a revealing about who they are to justify things for them.
Right. Well, if I were to do it, and you're like, but you're not. You're not. You're at home on the couch watching from the sideline.
And let me build on that, though. Something I left out that you just opened my eyes with is, I think that the key thing that haven't said yet is personal awareness and social awareness. It's being aware. And I feel like you gain that awareness to really find your truth. Going through adversity, that's part of the ride. But to really find it is being aware, knowing your surroundings.
Awareness and kindness.
Yes, kindness, but also that awareness comes with skills. Mm-hmm. That awareness comes with what you do. That awareness, trial and error, doing what you do. What works, measure, lean startup, build, measure, learn. So I think that's a huge thing also to touch upon is being aware of yourself, knowing yourself. And you find that also through skill sets.
Absolutely. So, I think, first of all, thank you guys for like really opening up about the entrepreneurial journey. I mean, you guys are, you're doing incredible things, and you guys
thank you.
Had a couple of, I don't want to say like, accolades along the way, but it's funny how like you celebrate literally for like maybe 2 minutes. And you're like, well, I guess we gotta get back to work.
Head down, baby.
Which also, by the way, and then I'm gonna wrap here because I know we've got to wrap. But which also brings, it's funny. Accolades are no different than the material things are no different than anything else that people chase. You get them. A lot of people are chasing them thinking that it's going to fulfill something, and then they get them and they're like, oh, they didn't fulfill anything. Most of the time, you're like, oh, I got to get back to work.
Yeah, that's the ultimate failure. Success without fulfillment, man. You have to.
Yes.
You have to know why you're doing something, and you don't need to know how. If you have your why and your purpose, you will figure it out when those doors open, and inevitably when they close, it's for something better.
Boom.
Have the closed doors.
Boom. Case, any last thoughts?
No, I love that. I mean, I think it's such an empowering feeling, like you guys are talking about that, like the journey. We love talking about the journey, but I think it's so true. Like realizing that there really is no end to it. So when you think a door has been shut, you could open up it again or open up another door. And to me, that's such an empowering feeling that there's really no end to it. That you could take one adversity and move on to the next, one learning lesson and move on. So I couldn't agree with you more. So I appreciate you guys. This was really good.
Hey, Sorry, go
ahead.
No, we appreciate you guys. This is an amazing opportunity. Awesome being here.
Yeah, I was interviewed on a podcast yesterday, and somebody was asking me talk about the difference between the journey and the destination. I said, the destination is you're dead, man. Like if you really think about it, like that's the end.
It's
like
true.
the end of the game.
Real.
Like you're never really done until you're done. And then let's not really work so hard for that destination, and let's just enjoy the journey. So
and on that note, the same thing is you learn. I mean, the day you stop learning is the day.
You're dead.
Yeah. And here's the last little thought right here. You remember that one guy that gave up? Neither do I.
Yeah, exactly.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
So go get it. Be out there. Breathe. Be thankful. Do you.
Boom. Thank you guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
having you guys on. And also to our sponsor, Movement, MVMT. You guys have seen them all over social media. You've seen them all over everywhere, actually. They're popping up everywhere. I don't know if that's just because they're retargeting me on social media or what. But their ads are killer, and their company's killer, and the founders are amazing guys, too. So We're grateful to them. You can check them out, movement.com/pursuit. Is that right, Case? Did I get that right?
That's close enough. Movementwatches.com, and you can use code Pursuit, and that'll give you 15% off. Same time.
Sorry, movementwatches.com, mvmtwatches.com, and yes, Pursuit at checkout. So definitely check them out. Like I said, we've all bought a few of them as well. They're just a great company. And so for episode 143, for Ian and Jordan K of Rally Flip Cap, check them out. Guys, where can everybody find you online?
You can find us at info@rallyflipcap.com. That's RALOYFLIP.com. And my personal email is Jordan, JORDAN, at CISCOUSA.com. And Ian's the same, just IAN at CiscoUSA.com.
And then you can catch all Rally Flip Cap, RALYFLIPCAP, is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Boom. Yeah, you guys are on it. You're having a lot of fun, too, when I see all of your social media. Like, you're just out there chilling with people. I need to do that a lot more. I'm too much behind the scenes sometimes.
Don't get so hard on yourself, Matt.
I just want to be out all day, be like, hey, check this awesome person out.
Hey, you got to put out the noise, man. You're doing work too, man.
Hey, but you know what, though? That's only a few. Most of the day, we are heads down.
Oh,
just
believe
like
me.
you, brother.
That's how Case and I are. Good, 14-hour days or short days. So again, for episode 143, for Ian and Jordan K, Rally Flip Cap, for Case Kenny, myself, Matt Gottesman, for Hustle Sold separately, we are out.
RallyFlipCap.com.